Good morning, everybody. I am just sorting out. This is the first time I've scheduled a live ahead of time, and YouTube doesn't make it obvious how to find your live because they kind of hide it from you on your Manage Videos tab. So I kind of gave up and I was running a bit late, and I thought, well, what am I going to do? I can't find my live that I shared the link to. So I thought, well, I'll just duplicate the live. I actually went on ChatGPT and asked the question because ChatGPT goes to the YouTube rules and it like scours it super fast to get your answer. And I explained my problem. I said I scheduled a live, I can't get on, and it gave me a bunch of options, and actually, did this option actually come up that solved it? Um, it it didn't, which is hilarious. So I'm going to draw Santa Claus. This is my Santa Claus challenge, and here's a sketch. I was doing a practice sketch this morning, and I said last week when I made this challenge that I was going to practice all week. And so I'm going to show you where I started. This is the original challenge that I came up with, which is this is not me. This is AI. This is an AI Santa Claus. And so my challenge to myself is who paints Santa better, AI or me? So I'm just going to do a disclaimer here to begin with. This was from Midjourney. This was one of the Santas. I asked for Santa image, and this is what came up. A couple others came up too, but you notice he's got five fingers and a thumb, so he's got 6 digits, and he doesn't have all of his nails, and they aren't necessarily the right shape. And then the way this foliage is around his neck is a little unnatural, but that one doesn't bother me as much. I'm not sure what that is. That's a little creepy. But what really bothered me about the AI image and why I decided to take this challenge on is the creepy look in the Santa Claus's eye. And but what I'll tell you what I do like about this. I like the wrinkles. I think they did a good job on the wrinkles. I love the way AI did the beard and the hair. I think it's really, really good. But otherwise, it doesn't work. It's pretty creepy. And so I'm gonna draw. My disclaimer is there is no way in a live session will I be able to get, because of the level of artist I am, I don't do oil paintings every day or even acrylic paintings. I do I do this kind of drawing fairly often, but in order to achieve that much detail in a live session, I'd probably have to be here all day. So I'm going to do it to the level that I like to take a drawing on a live session. But the thing I'm going to show you my practices. I want to demonstrate a couple things here. One of the things I want to demonstrate is that it takes practice. It takes practice to do these live sessions. It takes practice to figure out exactly how you want the Santa Claus to look. It took me a few times before I came up with a face that looked old and also looked appealing. And I finally came up with it, and I practiced this every night since last weekend, and I finally came up with it. And this is the guy that I'm gonna draw today, right here. And I could start from this sketch, which was my practice sketch this morning. I'm like, can I recreate that fella that I did? Let's see, what night did I do him? I created him Thursday night. these other practice ones I didn't like, and I'm like, oh, I'm running out of time. I'm doing this Saturday morning. So I came up with this guy Thursday night, and I found some aids to make from drawing aids from Adobe Fresco, these brushes that really made the clothing really nice, and I was able to get through the beard a little bit faster. So I might use those, but I also feel like part of the reason people like to follow me is they can learn how to draw. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this guy from scratch on a blank piece of paper, and you can follow me doing that. So I'm going to go over there and start from scratch. This is like hard for me in a way. I like to work from an under sketch, but we're doing it. And we're going to make the Santa shoulders about there. His head comes down into his, let me move him over a little bit. Something like that. His head goes back here. He's got kind of happy cheeks, and his nose goes over here. So I'm gonna go back here really quick and point something out about the AI Santa. The AI Santa, part of what makes him a little bit creepy is they've put these eyebrows on him that start low, go high, and then they come down again. And you can completely change the character of a portrait by not doing that. And if you'll notice on this one, open up, notice how these are kind of level. They start high, they don't go up, they actually kind of go down, and they kind of arch down on both sides. And by bringing up that center, like, it takes away the kind of intense look that other Santa had. And I softened the eyes too. So we'll go back here and we'll work on that. So we've got his eyes. His eyes are, I may have to bring the top of the head up here. Somewhere up there. So his eyes also have a little bit of a downward feel to them. And that one's way too high. So I'm really going through the process for you so you can see how I work out the problems, because it's a little bit intimidating when you're learning how to draw to see a really nice drawing right off the get-go. You're like, oh my gosh, I could never draw that well. And the fact is that it takes a lot. All of this is going to move down a little bit. It takes a lot of trial and error if you don't use a formula, which I have used a formula in the past, but I kind of like to freehand it and just sort of feel my way, because I think most people do that. And the really great part about digital is that I can move this stuff in a little bit instead of having to erase it. I can just sort of move it in where I want it. Done. And I can also, so I want him to be like a little bit at an angle. So I'm going to make this one a tiny bit bigger. And I'm going to also move it down there. Done. Deselect. Okay. I can kind of feel that I have the eyes, deselect, where I want them. And so I'm going to build the rest of the face based on that. I think the nose is okay too. This whole bunch of lines right there is a bit distracting, so we'll use the eraser. So I know I'm gonna wanna do a nice, definite rosy cheek, so I wanna make sure I leave space for those. Right about there. That one's a little bit high. They're both a little bit high because the thing about this Santa is he's old and he's gonna have wrinkles. So I'll move those down a little bit. Those are there. And this guy, I want him. So that's kind of where his chin is going to be, and the chin's going to disappear in a minute, but I need it. I need it there in order to place other parts of this painting that are important. And so his nose does this. It's going to come down here like that. I want to get the center of the nose, the lips right below it. And they're gonna, he's not gonna have a big upper lip. He's gonna have a fairly small upper lip, I think. And I want him to smile. And we'll just do a simple bottom lip like that. Okay, so I have to figure out all this out before I erase all this. Also, this eye is a little bit weird. Now I see, I'm just gonna do a little erasing right here. So I wanna come straight over here. So sometimes I kind of like draw a lot of lines and then I sort of carve away what it is I'm wanting to show. Like here I could draw a lot of lines like this. And then I can carve away what's important. Oops, go to my eraser. That space there is important. This is important. That's important there. Which again, I'm gonna have to bring this little rosy cheek down a little bit so that I can show those wrinkles there. I don't know that he needs those big bags though. Let's get rid of that one. There, that feels better. Okay, so now we got to talk about eyes. Let's put those eyes in because, so first thing is that there's a white eyeball. Now these corners right here are going to get a little bit of pink in them. And then I want to be sure where's the top. Then I'm going to have the colored iris, which is pretty big. And then the pupil, the black pupil is barely going to touch the top. It's just gonna touch it a little bit so that he doesn't look like he's scared or deer in the headlights kind of look. So here we have the white eyeball, and then we've got the colored iris goes here, and then the dark pupil just covered a little bit on the top. And just so to indicate that that's going to be colored. Okay. So I definitely have that same feel to the Santa that I had on the other one. And so his eyelids, a lot of times when I'm drawing a younger character, I'll bring those eyelids way up like that. But I want him to look old. So if I bring them up, I'm going to drop them right back down and take them out to a wrinkle. So let's do that on this side too. Right out to a wrinkle. And I'll erase that. Erase these lines that don't mean anything. Okay, so that helps me describe that he's old. And then let's not forget those eyebrows I talked about before, which are, the eyebrows are going to start, you know, the nose comes up like this and goes out to each eye. Those eyebrows, I'm actually going to start them up a little bit higher. And the shape is going to go down here. And I'm going to step away and look and think, are those just a tiny bit close? They are. So let's take all those lines out. And let's just go up a little bit higher. This is where we're going to start. And we're going to go down like that. And down like that. Yeah, that one's a little bit low. And his eyebrows are pretty thick. So that's just blocking in where those eyebrows are going to go. So I can figure out where I want to make sure he's got a couple wrinkles on his forehead. So I need to leave room for the hat needs to leave a bit of room. I've got a lot of lines up here, just trying to feel out where everything is. Let me make this eraser a little bit bigger and get rid of some of these lines. This will help me work this out. So he doesn't look old just yet because he's got this sort of young chin happening here, but that's going to go away in a minute. And so here is his forehead coming up like that. And I want some wrinkles going across here. So the hat is going to come right around like this. I think I'll bring it down a little bit here. And it'll go out. This is the white ruff around the hat, the white furry trim. Probably needs to be a little bit thicker right here. Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining me. And I'm going to check the comments. Hi, Madeline. So sorry I didn't see that earlier. I hope you're still here. I do have to stop focusing on my drawing to check the comments, and I get very intense when I focus on my drawing. Sorry if I was a little late there checking my comments. I will come back and check again. Oh, that's weird. Something just recorded my voice and played it back for me. Oh, that's weird. Something just recorded my voice. Okay, I am going to turn off my computer because I think it is. Yeah, that was it. my computer turned on my YouTube channel and was listening to this. That was crazy. Okay, so thanks for stopping by, and I'm going to go back to my drawing here. So I think we've determined pretty much where the rough of the hat, the trim of the hat's going to go. And then I might grab this whole thing and move him over just a little bit because I want done. Okay. I want his the little ball at the end of the hat to be resting here on his shoulder. And I want to have a lot of nice room for that. So that's going to come up and go like that. I would say that's going to look something like that. Okay, so all right, and next we're going to put his beard on. So he's got a mustache, and it is going to come down like this, and I don't want to cover up his smile, so I have to be careful of that. So I'm going to let his mustache have a shape like that. And then his beard is going to grow out from right around his lips, below his lips. And then it's going to swoop underneath that rosy cheek on both sides. And then it's going to grow out of his face all the way up here. So now we've got a beard. Erase the chin. He almost looks a little bit too sad in this eye. I'm gonna have to fix that. So it's kind of interesting what you can do. Let's see first, before I erase it and redraw it, let me see if I can fix it by just altering. There's a transformation option here, and I can skew this drawing. So I've chosen just that eye. I can skew that eye. And what I want to do is bring it up a little bit. It's a little bit too sad. Let's go back, 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 back. Look at where we started. Okay, is that where we started? I think it is. Okay, I'm going to skew or distort. Let's distort. So I think I want this side to come up just a little bit. And then I think I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'll have to erase to get that to happen. Okay, there. It was just a little too droopy. Deselect. And we'll go back up here and okay, I want to really thank everybody who stopped by today. I'm going to keep going for quite a while today, drawing Santa Claus. And I'll check the comments as we go. And so let's bring this bottom up a little bit here. There we go. That's what he needed. We need to bring the bottom. It's like his lids, the bottom of his eyes are drooping too much. So this is how you work out a drawing. You just keep at it until you get the character that you're after. And I think I'm getting pretty close. His eyes now look friendly. They're quite a bit different than the Santa Claus that we saw on AI. This guy's eyes are much friendlier, and I feel pretty good about that, how he's turning out here. So we'll bring that up there. Okay, so now we're just going to go in here and do a little bit of detail below. He's going to be holding open his bag of toys. Little finger, next finger is a bit bigger. Middle finger is the biggest. And then the index finger. So he's going to have this bag that goes around like this. We'll have the rim of the bag going like that. It will disappear under his other hand here. I actually might just do that right away. Let's just do that right away. We know it's going to go over here, but he's going to actually be holding a Christmas ornament that fell in his hand. So I'm going to use a circular tool here to show that that's the Christmas ornament he's going to be holding in his hand. We'll just draw that really quick. And then drawing his other fingers. Whoops. Sometimes this program likes to take over and do what it wants to do. And on my other drawing, I did a better job with the hand. So what I did on the other drawing was I drew the hand first, and then I went in, and so I'm going to do what I did on the other drawing. Let's make this really big. So again, this is all part of it, is you don't always know exactly how to make what's in your mind happen on the paper. So I'm going to just start by drawing. I'm going to turn my paper here. Okay, I know I want that finger to come down. I want it to have a little bit of a bend in it. So we'll fix that real quick. And then the meat of your hand underneath right there is here. And then I'm basically trying to get a hand that's doing something like this. I can't even get it. So that thumb may end up being moved completely. So We'll come back to that. Let's get these other fingers drawn. I want this finger to be a little bit longer. This finger to be a little bit shorter. And finally, the little finger is the shortest. Okay, so now we've got his hand like this. His thumb is actually more out here. Okay, so now we've got his thumb coming off. I love how much trouble I'm having with this. I love to encourage people by showing you, yeah, it's hard, and you make mistakes. Like, how come so there's and then there's this part. Thank you very much. That took a little while. And I'll erase some of that. Now it's starting to look like a hand. Thank you very much. So these fingers look they look way too small for that thumb. Let's fix that thumb. That looks good. So I'd either, if I was on paper, I would just redraw these fingers, but I'm not, I'm on digital. So I'm going to transform these fingers and make them a little bit bigger. And all of a sudden, the hand is making a whole lot more sense. Deselect. Cancel. Go back to my pencil. And I'm going to check the comments, see if anybody's got any questions. There we go. Thanks for the thumbs up. So this one here, I had the same problem before. Which is on top of which? So that's the knuckle. And that finger is on top of the other one. I had this same problem in my practice drawing, which is interesting that I keep making the same inconsistency there. So I think we'll put a little bit of separation between the little finger and the next finger. Right there, they overlap. Oops. Oopsie. Wrong pen. So here are the knuckles. It's another one. Just get clear about what's going on with these fingers. So again, here's the next finger joint. And then here This usually helps when you put the nails on. People start to understand the hand better. So a lot of this will disappear when I'm painting over the top of it. So there's that friendly Santa Claus here for you folks. This is what we're drawing today. And now I am going to put his big white trim on his sleeve. I may end up shrinking this entire hand because I made it really big and now it feels a little bit too big, taking up a little bit too big, much of the image. So let me just, I'm just gonna like shrink it the tiniest bit. Not too much. I guess I didn't want this bottom part to be too awfully close. Move it right out there, done. Deselect. And then let's put that ornament in his hand. Keep picking up the wrong tool. And so the last time I had this going the other direction, but just the way that I've drawn this doesn't quite work out that way. So there he's got, there we have the ornament, and then we're gonna put, I want two things to show in the bag for sure. I want a little teddy bear to show, and he's gonna have a little body like this. Something like this. So the teddy bear is going to be there, and then I think I want to show a present with a bow. Wow, the wind is just wild out there. We've been having such big storms in the Pacific Northwest. I'm in Bellingham. Okay, so all I know is I really want that ribbon to show. Now what I can do is I can build the box. We'll just have the box go behind the teddy bear. The present basically is like this. And I'm gonna maybe change, this is the strength of digital, is that you get to move things around really easily. Put this up here a little bit. And why did I do that? Because I want this bow to, I don't want to intersect with that paw. So we're gonna change this a little bit. Deselect, eraser. So I want the ribbon to miss his paw. I want there to be separation there. And so then the ribbon goes this way. And that means I might have to change the shape of my box, which I'll do that. The direction of the box, I should say, not the shape. So we can have this box go parallel with the ribbon, all behind there, comes across like this. The ribbon wraps around the box. And so this whole corner will be a present. And then I think we're gonna put in something else that's circular in here. Somebody's getting a fun, colorful little ball for a gift. Or maybe it's a soap bomb all wrapped up. And so we've got his trim for his cuff right here. Whoopsie. Deselect. Checking the comments. Hi, everyone. So I decided today to start totally from scratch, which, you know, it makes the whole drawing process longer. I keep grabbing the wrong tools. On a YouTube live, I also did not use my symmetry tool, which always makes my drawings a lot faster. But this one I didn't want to be symmetrical. So working out the hands, not starting with an undersketch, takes me longer. But if anybody's really trying to learn how to draw, I like to show the process because I've been doing this my whole life. And I have trouble. Like, I struggle. Oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted. I need to move that hand, or the all of a sudden now I don't have much room to do details with the shoulders on the, I'm gonna try and define though. Let's bring this up like here more, so we get some separation there. A lot of times when you put things really close together, it creates focus, and you might not want that focus. So that's why I create separation. So his shoulder kind of comes up on that side, and so his shoulder really goes like this. In case I need to understand that better later, I like to define where the shoulder is. And this little ball could actually move a little bit over here. There we go. And then this shoulder is really just here. And he's got another white ruff over here. And in a while, when I get to coloring things in, you'll see why I wanted those ruffs, because they have, and I want this to be very clearly here, because I have a great tool for doing a detail around the edge of a white blob that makes it look like beautiful, furry, fluffy material. And it's a Adobe Fresco drawing tool. And when working in Adobe Fresco, why wouldn't you use the tools that they offer? Okay, so I think I actually have my components, and then I'll have some vinage, you know, some Christmassy stuff going on up there, but I'm not going to detail that out right now. I want to work on get the Santa going. I'm going to move this screen a little bit. Sometimes I move my screen without realizing it, and there are people watching. So let's start blocking out the color. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this layer, and I can always make it disappear and come back as I go. And then I'm going to start blocking out with some vector color. And I'm going to start out with drawing some nice straight lines around the edge of the Santa coat. I'm going to choose a really nice solid red. Kind of want it to be a little bit farther out. See if we can just take it a little bit farther out. There we go. I'm going to do that line again. I didn't like it. I kind of want to create a nice clean edge. I sometimes go a little nuts with my edges and go way over where I don't want them to be. So come on, turn for me, making all sorts of lines that I don't want. There we go. Okay. Put my ruler away so I get a nice... So this clothing piece comes all the way up like that. And I'm going to bucket fill. Yes. I think what I'm going to need to keep the drawing, the sketch on top. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add I'm going to bucket fill a nice deep blue background. Okay. And we're going to go in here and above this, we're going to add some skin color. You can make your Santa Claus any color you want. I'm going to go with a light, not a white, not a brown, but it'll be fairly light, because I think the Santa Claus myths started in Germany with Saint Nicholas, so I don't want to go too dark. I want it to be kind of a skin tone. But like I said, you can make your Santa Claus any color you want. There is no, whoops, cancel, grab the right brush, Maggie. Okay, so here is the edge of the face. I'm going to go down below the beard because the beard may have parts that show. And we're just going to go ahead and go all the way up here. And bucket fill it. All right, so now we've got a face. Let's start trimming out some of the white. So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, I have the bucket fill on by accident. I'm gonna just actually try and see if it'll fill without me doing additional lines. Like if that is buttoned up right there, can I just bucket fill? It does. It bucket filled that. Okay, next up is going to be the beard and the mustache. He's going to have more going on there. There'll be more going on. I'm going to take away a couple of those lines because I'm going to use a different tool. And then here, maybe I will go grab that tool because I want the hair to come onto his skin the way, I don't want to have to redo it over and over again. So I think I'm going to go grab this taper tool, and let's see what we can do with the taper tool. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. Didn't really mean to do that last move. These little blobs don't matter. They're going to disappear in a minute. Okay, so we got kind of a beard look going around the edges there. And I want to do the same up here. And blend it right in there. And we're going to do the same here. So I actually went right on top of this color, which is sort of interesting. I wonder if that's going to be okay. I think it'll be okay. Sometimes I make different layers for these things, and I may have to go back and do a little fixing of that. So I'm just going to make the beard shape like this and bucket fill it. It might go everywhere. Oh, it didn't. Okay, bucket fill this. Okay, so now we've got a nice beard. So the only issue is I really think I want this beard to be its own layer. So I'm going to right now, I'm going to duplicate this layer, duplicate that layer. And here I'm going to select cancel. On this layer, I'm going to select this and I'm going to erase them. Deselect. Okay. And on this layer, I'm going to select the skin color and erase it. So now I've just got the white elements on that layer, and on this layer, deselect. I'm going to fill in. I'm going to fill in here. So how do I want to do this? I just want to show where does it matter? I'm really thinking this through. Does it matter? Yeah, I just want to, I'm going to turn the beard off. Oops. I'm going to turn the beard off. I'm going to turn the face on. And I'm just going to fill all of this in. Because when I go to paint it, I just want it to make sense to me in case I turn off the beard. I want the whole face to make sense when I'm painting it. So this helps me. I'm glad I did this. So we're gonna go in here and shape the face a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I have a face that I feel like I can just turn off, so I'll turn the beard back on. All right, everything's still intact. I think I'm gonna bring this, part of the hat down a little bit. There. And maybe here, just a little bit lower. This a little bit higher. And then, so we're on the white layer. And this is part of the reason I like to do this is I know I want this like that. And then I need to go back to I'll probably do a separate layer for the hat. So let's do that. Let's do a separate layer for the red hat. And maybe what I'll do is just go a little bit lighter with my line to outline the hat. But then I'm actually going to fill it with the darker color. And then I'm going to do a little bit of painting here. just going to I don't need much of that light line to that highlight to show that it's a different element. So there we go, we've got that figured out. Okay, so now I think I'll get into this all later. I feel pretty comfortable with all of this stuff. What's always hard for me and for most people who draw is getting the eyes right. And so just checking the comments here. Getting the eyes right and the skin tones right. So I think we'll work on that for a little while. And I'm going to create new layers to do that. First off, let's just work on the skin tone. I'm going to use a watercolor and I'm going to go to the original skin tone that I had, and I'm going to add a little bit of shadow. So we'll go down here. I don't want my watercolor to be too big yet. And let's see if this is small enough. We're going to add some shadow here along the side of the nose, under the nose, under the cheek. We went a little bit out there. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the eyebrows. So let's go up here to the white layer and let's just draw some. I'm going to use that same brush that I used before. See if I've still got it. And we're just going to take the time to make these eyebrows look fairly natural, like they've got hairs. And I may just oops, that one went a little bit far. I'll just cover this in this way. Thanks for stopping by, folks. No, went too big there. Just filling this in, and I may turn this sketch off here for a second, just to get more of a feel for, let's see, where's my sketch? Right there. Turn it off and find the errors, which it becomes obvious where the errors are. So I don't really like how that looks. Let's just rework that. There we go. That works way better for me. No. Okay, turn the sketch back on so I know where my other eyebrow is. This eyebrow, it's like I had to do the first one in order to understand how I wanted the eyebrow to be. I may end up redoing that first eyebrow. I'm going to go down here and fill in the middle. So I don't like how the end is happening here. So we'll just redo it. Sometimes I just have to redo things a few times. Okay, so here's something that I could do. I could take this, and I might do this. I might just take this eyebrow, and I'm going to erase this eyebrow. So I worked out what I was trying to accomplish more on this eyebrow. I'll just make it even better before let's fix that. Okay. And I'm also thinking that I want to there, actually. Bring this eraser down. It's a little too aggressive. All right, that works better for me. That whole part is going to get erased when I'm going to go ahead and use my deselect. I'm going to use my lasso tool. And I will duplicate that selection, and then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to shrink it, and I'm going to put it right here. Done. And I'm going to erase it here. And then we'll just go ahead and finish those out in a little bit more natural way than just an abrupt edge like that. Okay. And let's just turn off the sketch just to see. Okay, those look good. I like those. I'm happy with those. This needs some help down here. Let's turn that sketch back on so we can continue. Okay, so here I've painted some shadows, and I'm just going to go a tiny bit further with that. Go back here to my shadows. I am going to go to my shadow layer. I'm going to put some shadows along the side of his face. This will eventually, I hope to cover that up with hair right there, but I want to have the shadow underneath. And then the shadows come up like this. This area is going to get shadowed. And then just a little bit of a shadow under the hat. Bring that, accentuate that a little bit. And then let's see if we can do the wrinkle shadows. Do a little bit of a shadow there, coming down his nose. Just gonna get control. Whoops, wrong brush. Whoops, wrong layer. Let me go back here. This is where I want to be, and I want to erase this right here. I want to make a nice clean edge. There we go. Alrighty, so let's add another layer here, and we're going to go highlights. And so I'm going to go back to my paintbrush, and this was this original skin tone. I'm going to go a little bit lighter here, and I will go a tiny bit bigger. And I'm just trying to create some highlight without it being too much. Do a little bit here on the top of the cheek. I'm also going to come back with some pink and change the color. Just bring a little bit of light into that eye area. The makeup artists always put a little bit of light right in here. Why is that? I guess it lightens the eye up a little bit. Okay, so we've created some highlights. Here, we want to do a little bit of a highlight here where his wrinkles are. Wrinkles! Okay. I think we'll do a little highlight there. That'll bring up the sides of his. I'm not sure about that one though. That one may not be the answer. Okay. Now let's add some color to his cheeks. I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to go pink. Come here, colors. Oops, I'm on the eraser, sorry. Goofed. Let's go back down with that. Go to my watercolor. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna now dry this highlight layer, and I'm going to merge it down to that layer. And then I'm going to add another layer on top, and that's where I'm going to go with my pink. We'll go pretty light, pretty big with the brush, pretty transparent with the brush, but pretty big. And that allows me, I'm going to bring in real close here because it's really probably hard to see for you. That allows me to build the color up. I'll go ahead and erase that right there. Now I'm going to go with a really big brush, and I'm just going to do a sweep across his whole face, just to give him a little more color, and maybe a little up there. Now I'm going to go back and erase here. This is the one area where I don't want it spilling over. Okay, so let me again turn the sketch off. I like it. I'm feeling good about that. It looks, we could use actually, I'm going to go back to this, and I'm just going to do a little bit of smudging right here in the middle. This smudge tool isn't very effective. There we go. It needed it to be bigger. Okay, I think that's working. So let's turn the sketch back on, and we can start working on the eyes and the lips. And then I'm going to go back in, and we're going to detail out some of the wrinkles and the shadows a little bit in the nose area. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go underneath this layer. So I'm going to go right on top of my main skin tone layer, and I'm going to start adding my eyes on a separate layer. So the first thing I'm going to do is create, now if you notice my sketch layer is way on the top, that's so I can draw and I can still see my sketch. I'm going to go with a vector on this one, and the first thing I'm going to do is add the pink, and then so the eyes are going to go pink first, so don't let that bother you. I'll show you why in a minute. I have to change my brush. This is, I've got to go back to just a basic round and go pretty small. Okay. Because the other brush just really grows. I want to get right into the corners with that. We'll do both eyes right into the corners. I'm just going to build these in layers. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you how we build it in layers. Now I'll switch to the white. And, oops, I'm on the wrong tool. I will go back to my brush tool. Now I'm doing the white eyeball. I kind of want to bring that a little bit farther. There we go. I'm going to turn off the sketch in a minute here just to... So this feels like it goes too far. So I'm going to erase the end of that. Same here, goes just a little bit too far. I'm going to bucket fill that eye. Okay, let's turn this sketch off for a second. Oops, what did I do? I turned off two things. Let's turn the sketch off. I just want to see how tidy things are. They're a little bit not tidy. So let me fix some of that. I could be also, there's a selection tool where I can paint. That's not very transferable to if you're doing this on paper. So sometimes I stay away from it. But I'll show it to you. So if I wanted to paint a particular area, I'll just go ahead and choose the magic wand and I'll say, I want to paint just that area, and it'll keep everything on the inside of it. I could actually go here to my shadow layer, and I could grab the eraser, and see, I can erase all over, but it's only erasing. Let me do that again so you can see. See how that shadow goes into the eye area, and I maybe don't want that. So I can take my eraser tool and I can swipe across, but you see how it stops at that line. That's the magic wand selection tool. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, I'm going to deselect and I'm going to go back to my eye layer and finish cleaning things up. So I wanted to just do a little erase right there. I think I need to go back up here with that eraser again. There we go. There it is. So just a little bit of cleanup here. Okay. That looks pretty good. So next is going to be the eye color. And I think I'm going to go ahead and give him some... I'm tempted to give him blue eyes because of the Germanic thing. But I'm also tempted to give him green eyes. Let's give Santa green eyes. How about if we do a blue-green? He's from the North Pole. Let's do kind of a turquoise eye. They'll be interesting. They won't be your typical eyes because he is Santa Claus. He's not typical. There, let's do a nice aqua eye. Okay, I'm on my eyeball layer. There we are, yes. checking the comments. Thanks for stopping by, folks. All right, so next we're going to add the pupils in coal black. Oops, wrong tool. This is where the circle tool might have come in handy. We could check how I did with the circle tool, or we could just let it be. And I think we'll just let it be because those look pretty good. Okay, so now I think I will use the selection tool for the green because I want to paint a slightly lighter color in there. And I might go over more towards the blue. And just to make his eyes a little more interesting, here in the middle, we're going to do blue-green eyes. I'm going to turn the sketch off in a second so you can kind of see what I did here. And then I might also go back to my green and go a little bit darker and add a rim. A shadow across the top. Okay. I'm going to add just a little bit of a twinkle in here with my paintbrush. And I think I'm going to end up doing a little blending, although maybe they won't let me blend on this layer. Can I blend on this layer? No, cannot smudge. Okay. So I'm going to take that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to add another layer, which is going to be a pixel layer. I've been doing a vector layer here. So we're going to add a little bit of watercolor in a really small brush. And that adds some interest to how the colors work in here. We're going to make his eyes nice and special. It's sort of what I'm after. Let's add a little dash of yellow. Then let's go back over to that blue, that dark greeny blue that I did. See if we can add a little bit of that here and there. There, he's got some pretty eyes happening now. I'm going to deselect. And then let's add a little bit of right on top here. So I'm just going to group that layer. I'm not merging it because one's a pixel layer and one's a vector layer. And I'm going to add another layer on top of it, which is going to be my little white, and they'll be vector, my little white reflections. Oh, that's not white, because that helps bring the eye alive. Okay. And I think we're now ready to add our details around the eyelids. Maybe before we go, I'm gonna add another layer, which will be just a shadow layer. So we'll do it in a paintbrush, in a gray. I'm going to go down here and select, what am I going to do? I'm going to go there. I'm going to just paint it. I'm just going to paint it with a very, very small brush to get it just how I want it. I want the lid on this eye to have a shadow. So we're going to do the shadow right there. It's quite subtle. Okay, we've got a shadow. So I'm just going to group that all together. Those eyes are now just in this group right here, everything about them. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go on top of them because the eyelid kind of goes on top. And I'm going to go ahead and use a pencil. I'm going to go with the lightest color that I've done. And I think I have a favorite pencil that I like to use. It's the Kohl pencil. I don't want it to be too big though. Let's go down to, okay, so now we're going to do both a highlight. Oh, what's going on? It's not showing. Kohl pencil, go a little bigger. Maybe I have to go a little bigger to get it to show. Let's just, oh, what happened? No, that's okay. There we go. I see. So this is underneath that shadow right there, which I don't want it to be. So I'm going to put that on top of that layer. I'm going to start again because I couldn't see what I was drawing. Now I can. I'm going to put that layer back up there. Stay there, please. I'm going to add my highlight here. And on this one, I'm going to bring the highlight right up to the top. This one, I'm actually going to do a shadow line underneath it. So I'm going to go all the way to the darkest brown I had, maybe even a little darker. Make it smaller. I'm going to come back in here with probably the black and clean some things up. So this one I actually want to be shadow. Too much. I want to do a little bit of smudging, but really a small amount. So we're going to bring that way down. Just smooth this out a little bit. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to this layer. And I'm going to unmerge them, checking my comments. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm going to find that shadow layer I did and not have that happening right there. That's bothering me a little bit. And this layer too, I need to clean that up a bit. There we go. I want that to be a nice clear. So again, I'm going to go to my shadow layer on my eyes, which was right there. And I'm going to erase this. I want that black, nice and black. Okay, so we did a light line, a dark line, and then here we just did a light line underneath. So let's do that again. Okay, I think I can now group these back up the way I had them before. And I'm up here working on my eyes that are on top of my shadow. What is that? I might have an extra layer here. Let me just turn it off. Oh no, that's the little, okay, let's group that. That's the little reflection. So we want to keep that. This, I think this layer is going to be my eyes and my wrinkle layer. It's going to go on top of the shadow layer. So we're good. I'm just going to keep moving forward. Go back up and grab my favorite pencil. Let's do the dark line on the top first. No, we want to go here. That line looks pretty thin. That's okay. It's a little thin. And let's go to the light line. Try and stay out of your way. Whoops. We did a little blending last time. Let's do that again. Oh my, what happened there? And go back and blend that again. Okay. All right, that's looking pretty good. I didn't really do any lashes on the last time that I did this. I'm gonna wait and do the lashes at the very end. I want to get the kind of the wrinkle thing happening. So I'm going to go back here, probably not go as dark as I did on that shadow. We'll just go to that darkness and add some details in here. And so these are, where am I? I want to be up here on this layer. Okay, so they're not showing up very because they're so close to the brown that I already chose, so I will go to that darker. Now what happens if we do a little bit of smudging? I like that. We'll do a little bit of smudging. Okay, let's go back in and add some of the lighter color. Because wrinkles are really folds of skin. So we want high and low areas. And we'll smudge those a little bit too. I'm going to step back and see how this looks because I've gone a long way without, okay. That's just enough so that you can tell he's old. I like it. I think we need a little bit more here around this eye. Oops, wrong. I want the dark color. And let's smudge it. I think I'm going to actually grab my hard round, or my, I have this eraser where you can slightly erase, but you don't have to do a lot. Oh, no, 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 no. it was way too big. I want it really small. I just want to erase a little bit of that color. Okay, that's better. Okay, I'm just going to do a kind of a sweeping shadow line there. Is that a bit much? I think so. So I could erase it or use that. I'm going to use that opacity eraser. That's kind of cool. And then it just kind of brings that down. And then I think what I'll do is use the smudger on the other side. I'm not sure I like this. I may erase the whole thing. Yeah, it's just becoming a big smudgy. And it's got a little whoop-de-whoop in it. Let's hit the back button. That was just sort of an experiment. Grabbing that brush and going sideways with it. So I see that this is where we actually have the problem. It's on this shadow layer here. Let's go back to the watercolor and see if we can fix that. Okay, now we'll go back here and grab the pencil. We'll grab that dark pencil. And let's add some details. I don't want to overuse the smudge. I want to get back in there with some very clear paint lines. So I'm going to grab the black because I know I want a shadow under the nose. I know I want a shadow in the nostril. There. That one's a little bit much. Go back to the watercolor layer. Add that dark brown again. go back to my there we go. That feels okay. No, it doesn't. Something's gone wrong here with the nose. I think it's that line right there. I'm going to get a really tiny I'm going to get a regular eraser. I'm going to go really small and see if I can figure out what's happening here. Let's go on this layer. Yeah, that's where it is. I can live with that. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the thumbs up. Oh, I've got some. Oh, Kevin, hello. Greetings. He would have a bit of a glitter in his eyes. Yes, a happy legend. Thanks for stopping by, Kevin. Always appreciate your comments. Okay, so I think the next thing we're going to work on is this lip right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add a paint layer. We'll go with a watercolor, and we're going to definitely go to a nice pinky color. I wonder if we want to go to I want to go this way. We'll start out light and build from there. How do I want to make that line happen? I want there we go. That's interesting. So here we've got a highlight going over the top of that, which I kind of like, but I'm going to make that a little more interesting by putting some lip wrinkles in it. And let's go a little bit bigger on that. Let's erase the shadow right here along the edge. Let me take that back. I want to go a little bit smaller on that. So what I did was I went too far out here. So I may just go back and undo those, be a little bit more careful. And I think the first thing I'll do is I'm going to create an outline of where I want the wrinkles to stop. I'll do a couple of them that are bigger. Then we'll go back down to that smaller line. Let's see if this worked. It's a little weird. Let's smudge it here and there and get rid of it in other places altogether. Does that work? Nope. Let's just erase it. And I'll go back to a different method altogether. I do want to create some definition in his lips, a little bit of wrinkliness. So instead, I'm going to go with another layer on top. I'm going to go to my watercolor, and I'm going to go to here. And we'll create some highlight on the lip. And that feels way more normal. Okay, let's put a little more shadow up here. Let's go to as dark as we can. And we'll go with a little bit bigger watercolor line. Bring that shadow into the edges of his mouth a little bit. Maybe put a little bit of a shadow underneath. And blend it up. That's looking pretty good. So his beard and all of this is still looking a little bit just blocked. And so I think we're going to have to add details pretty soon to that. I'm going to go up here. I noticed that I've got a little mark I need to fill in here, right there. Okay, so I'm going to hit the easy button to start with. And I'm going to add a layer right here. Fuchsia. I have a Christmas cactus that bloomed last year, only took 9 years. Fuchsia. Yeah, a little bit, fuchsia has a little more purple in it. And when I do the clothing layer where I actually add color, I'm going to go that direction. I did that on my practice drawing, so you'll see that happen in a little while. So like I said, I'm going to do the easy button here. I'm up on this layer. This is a vector layer, and what I'm going to do is a pixel layer, so I'm going to have to add on top of that layer. And I'm going to my brushes here under the pixel brushes, and I have a favorite, and it's called Kyle's Concept Brush Sir Harry Sharp. Kind of a crazy name, but it works great. So I don't know if I need to increase or reduce size. Let's just, so you see what it's doing here. It's adding, yeah, I think I need to reduce the size a little bit because I don't want it to stick out too far. Let's try that again. There we go. So suddenly I can make this entire white blob that I did feel way more fuzzy just by going with this really. Now you can hand draw all this with a colored pencil if you're doing this on paper. It's going to take you a long time. That's why I said when I first started this challenge and I showed you the AI painting, I'm like, there is no way I could do, like, I can definitely do something that is much more appealing than that AI painting. I'm not going to say better, I'm just going to say more appealing. Because AI is pretty talented. You know, it just grabs whatever it sees and it throws it together in about 4 seconds or less. And it grabs from some of the most talented artists in the world in the history, and it puts it into a drawing. I'll go back, I'm going to circle back to that because this is where the whole thing today started. Oh, I love this fuzzy. I love it. I just love it. And around we go. This is why I wanted separation. You remember I was talking about separation earlier, and I didn't want it too close to that or that. I just really wanted the separation. Okay, so I'm also going to add a little bit of shadow to that. So we'll go down here and we'll choose a little bit of a gray color and add a little bit of shadow. Not much. It really doesn't need much. Oops, what happened? Nothing to redo. Okay. Okay. So now I am going to enter into territory that makes me really nervous. I'm going to go back and work on the beard. And I think, all right, before I do that, let's just take an overall look here. I like how his face is looking. Let's go back to, this is going to save everything I did now. I want to just take a moment and show you where we started. This is the challenge that I gave myself because I know people come and go when you're on live, you're on so long. So I gave myself this challenge. Can I paint a better Santa Claus than AI? And if you notice, I picked a super challenging quality of painting, like the detail is over the top here on the beard and stuff. But I chose this as my challenge painting because of two things. Look at how bad they messed up. AI messed up the hand, which is very common. It's a way to tell that it's an AI. Look at that weird, creepy look in the eye. Very weird. And then this one, the one little fuzzy that got loose is weird. And then the other thing that's a little bit weird, I mean, I guess this is okay. It's supposed to be sort of an old velvet, but it's a little bit weird how they just sort of hung this next to his beard. And then there's a couple shapes that I went, what is that? Like, what is that? I'm not sure. What is that? Overall, though, when you zoom out from it, it's like, oh, what a beautiful painting, except fairly creepy. The other thing I like about this is I like this background stuff that they did. I like this really kind of old paper, old painting scroll work that they did, and I kind of want to emulate that a little bit. So this is where I started, is like, I want to challenge myself. Who can do better? Can I get this detailed today? No, I can't. But can I make him more friendly? The other thing I want to point out before I go back into drawing the beard is I did several. I practiced because I don't draw Santa Claus. Like, I haven't drawn Santa Claus since I was a little kid. And I'm like, well, you better make sure you draw a Santa Claus that you're going to be proud of. And so that first one was Monday night. This was Tuesday night. It got a little bit better, but I still didn't like it. And then I think I did this one on Wednesday night. Might have, yeah, this one was on Wednesday night. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit better. Still not what I wanted, but I did some experimenting with the beard on this one. And then this is the one that I did Thursday night that I really liked. And I finished him out. And so this is the goal today, is to see if I can get this recreated today. It's a pretty long, it's going to be a pretty long haul to get that far. So here he is. This is the new version. I didn't start with an undersketch, and I need to start working on the beard now and making it look better. So thanks for the thumbs up. Oh, wrinkles in the Hollywood leaves. Yeah, the AI looks suspicious. You would not want that Santa Claus coming into your house. You just wouldn't. This guy, I'd be like, oh, you look like you're lost, dude. But at least he's friendly. Okay, so I'm going to go to my, I need to find my beard layer, which is right here. So what do I have here? This looks like, let me just, I have to identify a couple layers. Let's turn that layer off. What is that? I think that's the eyebrow. Oh, it's the eyebrow. And then what's this layer? Let me move out. Is it turning anything off? No, so that's a blank layer. Here is my fuzzy layer. Here is my, okay, so let's move this down and join it with that layer. Get the eyebrows together, merge down. Now if I turn that off, they're all gonna go off. Yeah, okay. So there I've got my beard and eyebrows. I noticed another comment. Oh, those are, yeah, no, that's right. Those are those wrinkles in the Hollywood leaves. Thank you. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I used a rake, and so that's a pixel brush. I'll add a layer on top of my beard. I'm going to go with this gray color. I'm going to go find, see, favorites. No, it's not under that. Let me go to all. Let me go to, come on, all brushes, recent, there we go. Let's go down to the rakes. And I think I used the rake pressure. We'll try it. And it's a little big right there. Yep, it's not going to work there. Let's try it a sweeping. No. All right, back we go. That rake is not going to work. So let me just use a, rake tilt. We're going to do a little experimenting here. Oh my, that's huge. Nope, that's not going to work either. Big rake roll. Okay, that's the rake that I think I used before. This is just sort of an under, I'm going to go back over the top of this with, I'm going to go back over the top of this with white. then I'll probably come back in and do some erasing. We'll see. Let's just start with, let's just start here. Now we're going to go back and do the white over the top of it. We'll start at the bottom. Wow, the wind is just, can you hear it whistling? It is just blowing out there. So you notice that the white line of that original beard that I drew has disappeared now. That kind of rough white line. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my pencil line that I had before. Because the rest of this I really don't think that I can do with a rake. I just wanted to get some texture in there, a little bit of gray in there. So I'm going to go back over to my favorites and grab my kohl pencil. And I'm also going to maybe do a little bit of erasing first. Just to do a little cleanup where I have marks I don't really want. That looks okay. The rest of this looks okay. So here, go back to my kohl pencil. Let's go back to my gray first. Because I like to have the gray kind of shadowing underneath. You can always come back over the top with white. So what I'm trying to do here is make this work with the rake. I'm going to have to probably do a little fixing there with the white. We're definitely going to go back over the top of this with some white because I don't want him to be a salt and pepper Santa. I really just want these to be shadows. I'm not sure what that was coming across my feed. Yeah, I wanted the, so that's a good suggestion. You can define the perimeter first, then apply the rake feature. I'm with you on that, except I wanted my rake to go beyond that perimeter. I wanted the hairs to fly free, which is something I've always kind of aspired to in my drawings. So I'm kind of feeling like, let me just do a little bit of erase right here. I think I'll go up to the mustache after I finish the beard. Let me go back here to, let's grab the white and let's actually make this work. rid of that right there. This is the part that's time consuming, right? It just takes what it takes to get a drawing where you want it to be. I can turn my pencil a little bit on the side to just get that white back in there the way I want it. And then I definitely want to create some highlight here. So we're just turning the Apple Pencil on its side, and it works just like a regular pencil where you can get that wider brushing. I'm definitely not going to use the blend in this. I want clear lines that represent hair. Okay, so I'm liking that. Kind of building up a little bit. I'm gonna go back to the gray. Too much. Okay, so what would happen now? Because you know me. If you know me and my drawings, I like to add a little bit of curl here and there. What happens if we start to add curls to this little mess? This might not work, so I may end up hitting the back button. Well, I think it adds a nice touch. I'm tempted to hit the back button and then do it on another layer, and if I don't like, I can turn it off and on, and I can, so let me add another layer. We're just gonna go right on top there. So I could go, so here I've got a little bit of a conflict going on. So let me go back down here and use the eraser as a way to, where am I? I want to be on this layer right here. This layer right here. And interrupt that straight line that's kind of taking over. I've got that happening in a few spots here. Okay. Ooh, I like that. That's gonna work. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and keep we just keep going. That's what we do. We just keep going when we draw, and we keep adding the details. And eventually we get the drawing where we want it to be. I have been going a while today, and I'm just going to keep going. This is kind of a Santa marathon. I don't really have to be anywhere else today, except I got to go check on my giant pet, my horse. Oopsie. Okay, let's be mindful. Gonna go back and grab that. I am going to go back to my, I think this is the layer I said, yes, there it is. That's the layer that I want to have as an option to turn off. Not that I'm going to, but it could happen. Kind of working with the rake lines at this point, which seems to be working. It just adds this kind of fanciful layer. I'm loving it. What am I doing here? Let's do this. Let's break that up a little bit. I think we're being pretty consistent on how we're going around. Probably come back in there with a little bit of eraser work. So we're just going to let a few of these fly free. Not quite that much. Okay, Now I'm wondering, should I go back with the gray and do just a few curls in here as well? So that means I'm going to have to go on top of this. Okay, so I'm really liking this. I'm going to just merge these, merge down. And then I'm going to go on top. And I'm just going to add a little bit of curl here and there. Not sure that's working. Did I do that on a separate layer? I did. Oh, maybe it's okay. Maybe what I need to do is come back in and add some, some white here and there to make sure it's going to work. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. I wonder if I could go a little bit lighter with this gray, if that would help. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we don't have to get super detailed. We'll do a little erasing there. We'll go back with the white. That's what we'll do. It's just one section at a time. You just have to take the time and make it work. And then look at the overall and see if it's working. Okay, so I'm going to have I have to do a lot more of these fellows. And just going to do a little bit of a trick here because I can. I'm on digital. And I'm going to duplicate that layer and I'm going to transform all of it, flip it. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to skew it. And then I'll go back in with the white and make it work with the flow of hair that I have here. That makes it a little bit faster. Done. Okay, so going back in with the white. I'll check the comments in a minute. Yes, reminiscent of the Masters trick mirrors, absolutely. We do our own thing in the digital world now. It's all a variation of some old thinking. We could definitely add a few more curls here. We kind of have a flow going there. So let's just go ahead and add, we'll just add a little bit of shadow in here and there. And then blend it in. Go back to the white. No. was a little bit too much. Yeah, the beard's working out. Thank you for the compliment. Sometimes it just takes a few tries to get things to do what you want them to. Okay, I feel like I've gone as far as I really need to on the beard right now. This is a little bit much over here. There, that blended. I've got sort of these heavy white lines that I don't know. They're from that rake that I did earlier. So I think I'll just see if I can redirect those a little bit. Okay, so let's go up here and work on this mustache a little bit. So he's got a little bit of a smile. Looks like it's coming up a little more on one side than the other. We'll just go ahead and rough up the edges of this mustache a little bit. I'm going to let this one run into the beard. Let's just blend that in. Okay, we're gonna have to, I need to do a little bit of, whoops. A little more detail right around here. And then just to define where the beard, where the mustache kind of overlaps, I'm gonna go back here and grab this gray. And then like the beard, I wanna do a little bit of I might come back over this with, whoops, whoopsie. Might come back over this with a little bit of white. That's looking pretty good. There's a lot of different ways you can do hair. You can do it with big blocks of solid and vector lines, and I've done it that way. I've had some really, really good success doing that way. I'm always doing something new though. I'm always trying something new. I tend to not stay in one place. The only thing I will say that is consistent about my drawings is they tend to be a bit, bye Kevin, enjoy your lunch. They tend to be a bit on the colorful side, a bit on the childlike side, and I'm actually good with that. So I might want to just smooth that a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna let that be. And I'm gonna move on to the eyebrows, and I'll go back to that gray. I don't think I'm gonna do a whole lot to the eyebrows. I'm gonna let them just sort of be this super white at the top. Do them a little shaggier, just to put a little shag in there so it matches everything else I've been working on. A little bit of the shag going on here. All right, that's looking better. Okay, his eyebrows are looking shaggy. They look like they're matching the rest of him. So we made some progress here, and I think now I'm going to turn that top sketch back on, and we're going to go ahead and get some things done here with the hands and the toys. Okay, so we know that we want it to be in front of the clothing. It doesn't really matter where it is with all of this. I'm gonna merge these guys. I feel like I'm pretty well done with the face, so I tend to want to just not merge it, but group them. I'm just gonna group the whole face together. There we go, and we'll just put it right on top of there. Okay, so I've grouped the whole face together, and I'm going to want to do a basic vector for the hands, and then I can paint on top of them. And so we're going to do a separate layer just for the hands, and go to my vector brush. We'll go with the lightest color, and we're just going to draw the outlines of the fingers. Oh, I haven't done the white ruff on the, that's okay, on the collar or the sleeves. Okay, I'm just going to bucket fill here. And then I'm going to magic wand select these folks, and I'm going to add a layer above and go to a watercolor. Let's go to the shadow color. I don't want it to be too big. I'm just going to create shadow on one side of the fingers, maybe just a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of just a little indicator of the knuckles, the joints here. Just round that hand out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to go in and grab a white, and I will add another layer right on top, and so that I can define the fingernails roughly. This is just very rough. Okay. Now I'm going to turn off this over sketch. And I'm going to deselect. And I'm going to end up having to stop the session because my Apple Pencil battery is running out. It happens, but I'm going to go I'm going to go for a little bit longer. I'm going to go with this color right here. Where am I? I'm on the wrong layer. I need to be on this layer. And I need to grab the right brush. So I'm creating a little bit of a reflection line there. I'm going to detail out my fingernails. That's interesting. My white line is there we go. Okay, I'm doing things I didn't actually want to do. That's what I wanted to do there, but somehow I ended up erasing way more than my intention was. There we go. That'll work. Kind of interesting how you can bring the detail you want by accident. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. I appreciate you stopping by. So if you stop by and you enjoy watching other people draw, or you learn anything from this, I would absolutely love it if you gave me a thumbs up. If you subscribe, then I'll pop up on your channel again when I do a live or when I make a video that's useful for learning how to draw. There we go. we've got a little definition going on there now. And I'm going to go back to drawing outline here. Got a little bit of a whoops there. That's okay though. Not sure I like any of that I just did, except for right up here. Okay. I think that's detailed out enough for what I'm trying to accomplish here. And especially since I'm running low on my Apple Pencil, I'm going to put it in there. Sometimes it'll pop up like, how much Apple Pencil do I actually have left? So I'm just going to show you that you can actually, I'm going to go back to my Apple Pencil, but so here I want a layer plus, oops, I want a layer that is, let's turn that one off. What is that? Okay, so I'm going to merge that one down or group that. I'm going to group all of that. And then I'm going to add another layer right there. I'm going to take my circle tool right here, and I'm going to make that ornament that was in my sketch earlier. So the ornament was about like that big. And I think I'm going to make it green. Make a light green line on the outside. Not too big. I'm going to do a vector line And so I'm just going to use my finger. Ha ha ha, look at that. Now the only problem is that this is in the wrong order. This needs to be below the hand, there. And now I'm going to bucket fill that. So we have the ornament that we can detail out later. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create another layer, and I'm going to create this a bag, and it is going to be underneath the ornament. Underneath, it's going to come around like this. And I'm going to start out with it being just a gold line. I'm doing some really basics here while I let my pencil revive. So let's bring this, cancel. Let's go back to here. I am going to bring my bag like this, basically. And that bag is actually going to be filled with a nice dark. We'll go with a really dark green. So the inside of the bag is going to be a really dark green. So this is actually the edge of my drawing. So that's fine. I don't need to go beyond that. And then I'm going to go back and choose a darker version of that. And I'm going to make the bag have some depth. So I'm going to bucket fill that in. And I'm going to go even darker. Go back to my line. And I'll bucket fill that. Okay, so now the bag has some depth. I could go with variations, a little bit of variation in that tone, but I'm going to cover it all up, so I don't think it's really going to matter at this point. So the next thing I want to do is I want to detail out that teddy bear. So, I haven't had this sketch on in a while. Let me see, how did we do? Okay, we did pretty good, actually. Okay, I did pretty good with I didn't turn my sketch back on for this part. But that's okay. So what I want to do next is I think I want to determine where the white is. So the white kind of goes behind the thumb, but then it goes over. And here it goes behind the fingers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a white layer right below the hands. So I'm going to go to my vector, choose white, and we are going to add the rough here. It's going to go behind the fingers all the way down like that, and I'll bucket fill that. Go back here, and then we're going to add and this, oops, I don't want it to go there. I want it to go behind there. Hopefully those lines met up. They did. Okay, so I've got that layer right there. I'm gonna add the Kyle's Sir Harry Sharp right away. Get that happening. Oh, interesting. So it is not going to show on top of his hand. I'm actually going to have to add a layer right there to make that happen. And that's fine. I'll just add that to the hand layer so it's out of the way. Go back to this layer and, oh, interesting. Well, I'll erase that. No problem. All right, bring my eraser up here. Okay. So we're just blocking out some colors right now at this point. So here, even with this guy, I think I'm going to add the teddy bear. So let's go get some vector golden brown. And let's create our little teddy bear. Everything about my teddy bear is kind of a curvy line. I'm actually going to go all the way down here. I think the drawing stops farther up. It stops up at that green, but just to be safe. Bucket fill that. And then I think I'll go below that layer to do the box that is going to be the present. And let's do I haven't done purple yet. So let's do a purple for that one. Cancel, go back here, we're on this layer. And we're going to add a pink ribbon, something nice and almost neon. On top of that, so we'll stay on that layer. Oops. Okay. Now we'll add a shadow line to the ribbon by going just a bit darker. All right, let's turn off the sketch and see how that's working. I like that. I think that's working fine. That's a little weird right there. Let's go back and grab that purple and see what happened. What I did forget to do before is I wanted to put stripes on the purple. So let me, the other thing is I don't think I figured a candy cane in this time, which is sort of interesting, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and choose, we'll do the magic wand and grab all the purple, and then we'll go back and we will find a darker purple, make it a nice wide line, and then I'm just going to add some stripes to the package. Back, back, back. Okay. Deselect. Now let's do some painting on this little guy here. So we'll deselect. Let's go here to the teddy bear. And I'm going to go back to my vector brush, and I'm going to add some gray paws. That one's just a little bit big. Okay. Then I'm going to add some black eyes. And I will add a little black snout. And then I'm going to add a little pink smile. Now what I didn't do is I didn't actually create the snout first. So let me do that with a, this is my orange. Let's make the snout a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to go ahead and go a big circle around this whole thing. And we'll bucket fill it. So now we've got a nice snout. The other thing I wanted to do was add a complementary color here. Let's go to a blue up here, kind of here. A little more blue, less purple. And I'm going to add some stitching with my vector line, pretty small. And then it feels like maybe he should have like a little vest on or something to kind of complement that. So let's do that. I'm going to turn off I'm going to deselect, and I'm just going to draw a little vest. On each side. And then we'll bucket fill. How does that look? This was unplanned. I think it needs more of a vest look. So let's do that. Let's make it more of a vest look. And let's join it. Let's just bring it in and join it, and we'll put buttons on it. Little black buttons. And let's put a little bit of gold trim. Okay, that's cute. Cute. Okay, next we're gonna do the ornament. So here, I think we'll just go, whoops, didn't mean to do that. We're gonna go back with that gold color, and I am going to create, still on the wrong tool, sorry, folks. So here, actually need to do that. And I'm gonna go with a little bit more gold and do some, nope, some vector lines. To accentuate the look of the ornament. And then we'll have a little loop come up here. There we go. Now, what shall we have on this ornament? We could do a red Merry Christmas, which I originally planned. Let's make it a little bit more of a fuchsia. So that's kind of cool how that, we'll do a little heart, because why not? My Apple Pencil is telling me that this session is coming to an end. So let's just do a quick, it's not over yet. I'm still going to add some background. I'm going to let this charge for a minute, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you the Adobe, the preview, the time lapse. Adobe Fresco records everything that we have done today, and it'll take a moment to just go through the whole thing, but you can see where we started, because we started with a blank page. Plugging all my stuff in, my batteries are going low. And you can see that it's, I wonder if I can zoom in on here. I can. What are we working on right now? We're working on down at the bottom. Oh, and quickly the color showed up. And it took a little while. We're working on the wrinkles, checking how things are working. Added some shading. And then we got to the eyes, which I'm going to do a close-up on the eyes because I think they have a nice sparkle to them. That was a comment from one of the viewers earlier, is he needs some sparkle in his eye. We're adding some fluff. Now we're adding some texture to the beard. The beard took a while. It's going fast here, but trust me, it took a while. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do when this is done is I am going to add some foliage to the background, just some golden sort of scroll holly-like foliage to the background. And I think oh no, we're still working on this is good because I get to let my Apple Pencil charge up a little bit. We're going to go back, so pretty soon we're going to see down here at the bottom all of the details for the bag, Santa's bag, and the toys that are in it show up at the bottom. And then we added the Merry Christmas, and we're all caught up. So now I'm going to add some foliage to the background. I would go even further with this. I want to do a gold braid here, but I'd rather do the foliage because my pen is running out. Done. And I think that I can, so I'm going to add a layer right on top of my background layer. I'm going to use a vector brush. I'm going to use a gold, a kind of a darker gold to start with for my lines. And just as a reminder of how I want it to look, I have to think about this. I did my practice here. Okay, this is what I'm going to accomplish right now. So let's go do it with the little bit of juice I still have on my Apple Pencil. So I've got my vector brush, I've got my gold. I'm on this layer right there, perfect. And I am going to start out by just making a nice scrolling vine, which I'm going to change the shape of right here. Now, I want to make sure that closed. That's really important. And down here, it looks like everything closed up, so we're good. Did it close up here? Yes, it did. Let's make that shape just a little more beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to add a few bark lines, viney bark lines. And now I'm going to add, not that this is actually how it would grow, but I'm going to add some holly leaves. I'm going to take that back, all of that back. I'm going to thicken my line. My line is too thick at this point, or too thin at this point. I'm going to go to about a 15. I want these lines to be quite bold. Okay, so we've got our vine happening there. Some more holly. I don't like that one. Do it again. There we go. We're going to add some berries, just some gold berries floating in the sea of blue. We're going to add some branches. And here we're just going to add a few berries right next to his eyes because I don't want to distract from the Santa too much with a bunch of lines going behind him. And we'll add a curl here. Okay, so now I am going to, if this works, I'm going to fill with a lighter gold color with my bucket. Let's see if it fills the whole. There, that's nice because what it does is it's adding a little bit of texture because we've got a different color. Okay, I'm liking it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Go back to my vector line. Maybe clean these up a little bit. I don't have much time on my Apple Pencil. This is really the challenge, is can I finish it before the pencil wears out? Let's go back here and add, we're going to do the same thing. The only thing I'll say is I did these lines thicker, so I may go back and do a little bit of work there. On the main branch and add a little bit of thinner lines. It was down at like a 3 or 4. I'm not sure I like how I did all those lines at all. I just didn't have any flow to them whatsoever. And it was because I started out because I was trying to fix this right here. I lost all my flow. Let's just use the eraser instead. There we go. Just keep that flow going. Okay. Go back to my thin line. And that's what I was trying to accomplish right there. And back to the big line, the thick line, and let's add some more berries. Can we sneak another curl in here? I think we can. And how about here? I think so. Time to start filling with the lighter gold. Okay. So something that I did on the other drawing was I did another layer of gold that was faded out and much more distorted. And so I might add another layer plus and put it behind this layer. And I think what I'm going to do instead is just go with a really, really, really big fat line, and I'm just going to create some. I love experimenting. I just love it. I'm just going to do a little bit of this, and then I'm going to fade it down. So let's just show what that looks like if I bring the opacity way down. That's what I want, is right there. So we're going to go, except I think I want it to be a little brighter. There we go. It's a little brighter. Back to my vector line. I'm on the same layer. I'm in a layer behind. Let's close that. Let's make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing. And I just want to add some curls. Okay, so how does that look? I think I need to fade it out even more. Really, really light. Okay. Because it almost got a little too busy. I might not keep that layer. I might let it go. Let's delete that layer. Okay. I think we're okay with it being just the way it is. And so now I'm going to do a quick export so we can look at this all trimmed out. And that means that I'm going to go to my photos to, oh, I know what I forgot to do. So there it is, all trimmed out. I forgot to add the beautiful texture onto the coat, and I think I'm going to do that. And I think I'm also, let that charge a bit. Oh, it's up to 34%. Yahoo! So I'm going to go back to my fresco. We're going to add some beautiful texture to this, and then I'm going to add some old world kind of paint work to the background. So let's do that first, and we'll do that by adding a layer, and it's going to be a lighter shade of this, and I'm going to go to a very large rake. I'm going to go nice and big, and I'm just going to start raking. It's not big enough. Let me make it even bigger. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And then let's go back down, make it a little bit smaller. This rake is really interesting how it's acting. It's like either go big or go home, is what it's telling me. Okay, that's what I wanted. I just wanted a kind of a roughed up look back there. And I did that by, I kind of went back and forth really fast without explaining what I was doing, but I was using the different rakes and erasers. That's all I was doing, and I played with the transparency. Okay, so now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to choose that cloak, coat, whatever we want to call it. I am going to go here to my favorite brushes, recents all, let's see here, to my favorites, and there's a thing called Kyle's Paint Box Synac 2, and I'm going to choose that paint with a red here, and I think I'm going to go a little darker on the red, and I'm just going to start painting on a new layer above it right here. I need to make that brush a little bit bigger. And in a moment, you're going to start to see that really cool texture that it does. So I think what I'm going to do now is go up to a much lighter red and create some. See how it, oh, I love it. I love that, just that little bit, just that little bit. So this is a pixel brush that that I can choose. I'm going to deselect that, and let's go select the hat. I'm going to select the hat. First, I'm going to start with the, I'm going to be on the hat layer. I'm going to start with the dark color first, right there. I've got the Cinex 2 brush chosen, and I have to add another layer on top of it. Okay, so now what I want to do is I just want to create highlight right around his head, right there. So now that's where his head's at, and maybe up here. And then just on the edge of the hat right there. There we go. Deselect. Okay. I feel like this little guy could, and this guy could use some shading. So let's go there since we've got a little bit of power in, and I'm going to choose that. I'll add another layer, and we'll go to a nice dark green in a watercolor and see what happens. Oops, I need a much bigger brush. Oh, I see the little, okay, let's go backwards. So the A, the E, the heart, the A and the S didn't get painted because they're not actually chosen. The E inside cannot on that layer. Okay, so I have to go to that layer, the inside of the heart, the S, the A, and this little corner down here got chosen, but it just didn't get painted. Okay, so now I think when I go back and I choose my paint, it's going to go in those places, and it is. And then I'm going to go back and add another layer on top of that and add some nice white highlight in a smaller brush. Too much. It was better right there. And actually just a little bit bigger brush is what I want. There we go. And now I'm going to choose this guy and this. And I'm going to go up to this paint layer. I am going to choose a nice dark shadow color. And I'm going to use a really small brush. And I'm just going to create a little bit of shadow. Okay. Deselect. Now his snout really pops out now. A little more than I cared for, but I think I'm gonna live with it. We might want to create some shadow on, I probably should have done that before. Let's create some shadow under there. I think it might be a little hard to do that at this point. So we'll let that one go. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I have been on here forever. This was my Santa challenge. And I think I'm going to conclude this video. I feel like I kind of want to put the Santas up side by side. So maybe I'll do that. Figure out how can I do that. So I'm going to export this one as a save the image. And then I'm going to go over to my Midjourney Santa. And I'm going to export that one. So I wonder if I can just turn off, let me turn off a few things here that are would sway most people. Okay, so that's our Santa. I'm going to export that one, quick export. Save that image. And then I am going to create a new Adobe Fresco. How will I do this? I will do it as a standard. And I'm going to import those two images so we can look at them side by side. So here we're going to add a photo. Let's add this guy first. Actually, I'm going to just make him as big as he was. Just let me undo. I'm just going to move him over like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put mine right beside, plus add a photo, photos. There's my Santa. Completely different kind of drawing for sure. Who would you want coming in your house? Which Santa would you want coming in your house? That's where we're at. Would you want the one with the 5 fingers and 1 thumb with the 6 digits and the really, really nice beard, but the creepy look in his eye? Or would you like a friendly, cartoony looking Santa Claus who's got some really nice, sweet, pretty eyes? I know who I'd want coming in my house. Thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I really had fun today, and I hope that you did too. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.